time, your gateway to the world. AFR! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is May, what the heck is today? May 30th, 2013. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Hope you are enjoying a nice, lovely, and dry stormless day. Actually, I'm kind of enjoying the storms, but I know some people don't like it as much as I do. For me, it's just, yay, I don't have to water the garden today, so bring it on. Anyways, it is Thursday, so you know what that means. We are joined by the truth sayer, the most spiritually and politically incorrect, we're not going to call him a guru, teacher, master, anything like that here. We'll just call him Toby on the little yellow bus, who also happens to be a personal awakening coach and the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. He is also the creator of CourseOfAwakening.com, a series of excellent videos, classes, and teleseminars. If you can't see him in person, go to CourseOfAwakening.com. And tonight we're going to talk about truth poison. What is it? How to avoid it? When and how to have appropriate boundaries? Is there such a thing as oversharing? When to share and when not to share? Essentially, how to deal when you're awakening, but your family, friends, and loved ones around you are not. Family drama, trauma, and karma. Woohoo! Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So, big topic tonight. And if you'd like to join us for the text chat, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. And you know what? I actually don't know if we have a caller line tonight, so I guess we'll figure that out in the next segment or so, and I will let you know. But woohoo! I hear a Toby in the background. How you doing tonight?
Let me at him. Let me at him. Let me at him. Come on, let me at him. Let me at him.
I think we should duke it out, because my religion's better than yours. Oh, no, wait. My politician is. Oh, wait, my everything I know. You got to be just like me.
I'm like a little bulldog. Let me at him. Let me at him. Let me at him.
I understand that. Woohoo! So who are we going after today?
Well, Gabby's here with me.
Hi, Gabby.
She's 6 months old, and she wants to bite all the cords attached to my phone and make sure that we create disturbances in the force. But nice. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to talk about, with all the stuff that American Freedom Radio does and thousands of other people and millions of people across the planet are experiencing this groundswell, this uprising, thank you, Muse, this, waking up, whether it be through scientific things like chemtrails or spiritual things by getting raped by your guru or priest, or through body things, realizing that pharmaceuticals are obviously not so helpful, most of them, 99.8% of them, for our bodies. So there's a huge awakening happening across the board. Millions of people across the planet are realizing that there's something rotten in Denmark. That's a Shakespeare reference there, Hamlet, I think. But there's something very wrong. Everything is upside down. The back of my book says, almost everything you've ever been told is a lie, education. Anyway, so this giant awakening across the planet is happening for millions of people. And so there becomes a schism at times between people who go, holy cow, 9/11 is impossible. There's 2,000 architects and engineers now that are willing to put their names, careers, reputations on the line to say that, this was a controlled demolition, blah, blah, blah. And there's natural doctors who are speaking up and realizing, they're with my cousins in Sweden, their mother is part of the World Health Organization. And when she was here visiting in Sedona, she let it slip, basically, that AIDS was a completely manufactured, thing. She's part of the World Health Organization. She would know. She says she doesn't take any of the vaccines herself.
Yeah.
Wow. Hello, wake up call. She's retired now, I guess, but she was part of it. But anyway, so they're having this awakening across the board, whether it be chemtrails, 9/11, Illuminati stuff, health stuff, natural foods versus chemicals, Monsanto versus shall I grow my own stuff. And so this huge groundswell is happening without any organization, just the way nature does it. Nature does her thing in a seemingly chaotic manner because there is a beautiful intelligence behind the chaos. Well, there's a certain uprising, upwelling of awakening in humanity now because the very sun and galactic center is informing, giving into our forms. It is creating our forms. Information makes the forms called bodies of elephants and hippos and crocodiles and lions. No, I'm not going to go there. Humans, reptiles, all of it, right? Grass, trees, plum trees. I'm looking at the plum tree. All of that is information through the light that activates the DNA to do it. So we are being informed. Do you have DNA? Yes. Therefore, the light from the galactic center, or our own sun, is informing you of a new upgrade. There's an upgrade going on. And so this has nothing to do with beings or people that want to control us. So when some of us are going to be waking up quicker than others because we're more open, we have less toxicity, or it's just our soul's destiny, or we've always been interested in it. And when you start waking up and you try to share this with those in your circle, your family, your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister, your mom, your kids, and they go, you're a wacko nut job conspiracy theorist. What the hell is wrong with you? American number one. Come on, let's go bomb those people. Let's drink some beer and just go, you know what I'm saying?
Go team, go!
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. To enjoy it, then, I'm making fun. My football team, come on, man! Come on, the Niners! Yeah! Come on, the Niners! Yeah! Right? And you try to explain that, hey,
Kansas City, come on.
Yeah. and you try to explain to them, you show them some evidence of, well, here's Building 7 collapsing at free fall speed and it wasn't even hit by anything. How could this be possible? You freaking Tommy, are you against America? You're a freaking traitor. I'm reporting you to the Office of Homeland Security immediately. You're a freaking Tommy, It's very threatening on a deep level to the sheeple cattle program that we've lived under. Leave it to Beaver, Ozzie and Harriet, Doctor knows best, Dr. Kildare, he dares to kill us all. Hello, Kildare, Dr. Kildare. So this awakening represents a huge crack in the prison wall. And whether that's realizing that, chemotherapy kills people, that basically it's a murderous denial killing system that feeds off of the sheeple. And it's very scary to wake up, just the way here in the west of the United States, they have cattle guards, there's wide swaths of government land. Even in Arizona where there's like cactus to eat, the cows will eat, prickly pear cactus. It's amazing. Well, they'll put cattle guards because, so they don't have to open the gate all the time on that road. And the cattle guards basically railroad, the steel railroad with enough space between that if the cow tries to go between there, they'll drop their leg in there and break their leg, right? But the cows learn early on that they can't do that. It's very scary for them. They kind of go into if you ever watch a cow at a cattle guard, you'll actually see the feel go through their bodies. They'll shake and stuff, right? Well, after a while, the farmers or the ranchers don't even have to put in an actual cattle guard. They will just paint the stripes on the asphalt, and the cattle will not cross it. And It's the same way
programming works.
Yes, that's the same way we humans are. When someone says, well, what about 9/11? Or maybe, there's actually a creature from Jekyll Island, the bankers of New York wore disguises and took a train from the New Jersey station down to South Carolina. The Jekyll Island is this beautiful place that the Vanderbilts built, the bankers and the hoteliers. And we just start getting scared when someone puts a crack in our little reality bubble. So when you start waking up, you go, holy schminkies, this is all, I've been lied to about all of it, just about. There's love, but the information for the most part has been completely backwards. Whatever you've been told is bad for you, sex, is actually going to save your soul. Whatever you've been told is good for you, going to Catholic Church, will actually completely damn your soul, because they do sexual, satanic, ritual abuse, child murders in the basement of the Vatican, for example. So it's opposite of what we've been told, We're told the Russians are the enemy, and then you watch that beautiful video because in Russia they have wet dash cams on all the cars because insurance purposes. They have little dash cams that run all the time. So there's a collection of these beautiful videos of good Samaritans from Russia helping old ladies, saving little kittens, helping each other in 100 different ways. And you watch that video, and I showed it to the grandkids, Joy's grandkids, and they're like, wow, we thought Russia was evil, but the people are nice there. Or
North Korea, yeah.
Yeah. So this programming is to conquer and divide. So when we start waking up, how do we deal with when we start getting all this information? Holy cow, look at that chemtrail. This other day, like 4 days ago, we were driving up to the Grand Canyon, and it's such a morning. It was Memorial Day, so they have to totally blanket. Even Sedona, this little town, with chemtrails. And you can see, I tried to get a picture of, here's a normal jet with a quarter-mile contrail, normal, water vapor, disappearing back, and then 10, 15 chemtrails blanketing the whole town. And it's so obvious, yet if you point that out to someone, the programming is so strong. The cattle are so scared to step over that imaginary cattle guard, And really, humans are still the majority. Well, I don't know. We're getting very close to the tipping point. So how do we share this in a way that it works with people? And what are the things we go through feeling rejected? And it's like living in the twilight zone when you start to see what's really going on, And so,
about it.
Yeah.
I think that's something we all need a little bit more of. But I have breaking news here. They say that waking up is hard to do. Now I know that it's true. Don't say that this is the end. Instead of waking up, I wish that we were making up again. I beg of you. Don't say goodbye. Don't burn me either. Can't we give our love another try? Stop punching me in the face. Come on, baby. Let's start anew. 'Cause waking up is hard to do. Boom, boom.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know where that came from.
That's great.
Waking up is hard to do, and losing all of your friends and your family and being demonized and ostracized and, kicked out everywhere you go, whether it's the football game or church or the courthouse or school or whatever it is.
Yeah. Channeling, by the way, Neil Sedaka there, who sang his first hit song was Carol, right? And of course he's gay, right? But that whole lie that we lived, Rock Hudson was gay, the ultimate masculinity symbol, gay. That's right? But we weren't allowed to be truthful about it. Yeah, that whole thing. So once you start seeing behind the curtain, the wizard is nothing but a little pudgy old guy operating this equipment. Yeah. So, but this is when this happens in your own family. literally, we are possessed as humans by our fears and the programming. And so it's very helpful to realize, okay, I am programmed. Just by growing up in this culture, C-U-L-T, cult, you've heard me say it before, cult U-R-N, culture, right? The American culture, American law, right? Wow, America is being destroyed right now. America is completely being raped, financially gutted, and destroyed by the international elite, on purpose. Mm-hmm. And you still have the people going, programmed, yeah, ours is the best country. Really? Have you traveled to other countries?
Yeah, I know. When you ask people that, they just get this look on their face. I watch the news.
Yeah.
So I saw this thing yesterday, speaking of which, the news and maps and everything. I mean, I think everyone listening to this show knows we've been lied to about everything. But, yeah, even maps and geography are all off. Like Africa, for example, which is bigger than almost every country all put together. But they make it smaller because, well, they explained in this blog, they associate, larger mass with affluence, and so they tend to make the countries we're supposed to believe are less than smaller on the map. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, well, I hear the music, so hold on right there, Toby and everyone. We will be right back after this short break. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us.
What are you doing now?
I don't... Our damn chatters, they're just so clever and wise and beautiful, and they just crack me up. I told them I'm high because I'm enjoying my berries again. It's, it's that season, and you only get strawberries for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then you have to wait all year again, and I don't know. It just does something to me. Mix those up with my fresh herbs, yeah, like basil and mint and not what y'all are thinking, but yeah, they're making fun of me.
You're eating natural berries. This must be stopped immediately.
Can you believe it? They grow from the ground, like in this black stuff called soil, and it's filled with, like, bugs and worm poo, and who knows? There might even be some of my urine and hair and blood in there, too. I know, isn't that gross?
I want Monsanto, genetically modified, hydroponically grown, sterilized, and antiseptic food. That's what I want.
Good. More for me, man. Shoot, I can't grow enough to share with you guys anyways.
You dare to eat natural berries? Those have, like, intoxicants in them. Do you know that?
But check it out. When these are done, and the raspberries and blackberries and blueberries will be ready, it's, like, amazing to me how it's all perfectly timed. One ends and the other one begins, and I don't know. I'm kind of liking nature, how she does her business.
And if we didn't have this sense of ownership, where we wanted to have census and own everything, then she would actually just have it wherever we happen to be walking.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I'm stretching it way too far. You know, the hunter-gatherers, they just lived off the bounty of the Garden of Eden. Now, whoever came up with the idea of, I'm putting up a fence here, and I'm going to sweat and toil and grow wheat and grind it in stone, and sweat and toil shall I earn my bread. I don't know who came up with that, because that sucks.
And if you cross this fence, we shoot you on sight. Or you could, you know, come up with several $1 million and then keep paying taxes to the crown every year for the same piece of dirt.
Could we imagine even a naturally balanced human population? So there is no overpopulation. There is no overpopulation, and we just naturally, souls are born when both the man and the woman both intend and want it. And therefore there's never any shortage. Instead of this denial of pushing down and living in fear, you know, then we get overpopulation, because when you do not accept those things internally to you, they take form as another body. Now I'm speaking high physical, spiritual physics there. But that's how it works. So can you imagine a place where masters don't worry about where their next meal comes from? Because first of all, they live by light. Light is the food anyway. I have food you know not of. You know, masters will say, Jesus says in the Bible. Babaji doesn't need to eat. I find myself eating a third of what I used to eat. I went to the gym yesterday, worked out for an hour and a half, heavy weight. I'm doing incline bench presses with, 165 pounds for incline. There's some heavy weight. And, you know, whatever. I'm working out to get a pump, and then I do some karate workout, and my body is still not hungry.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's like I eat today I ate breakfast. You know, Mark cooked an omelet. Mark Anderson, who lives here at the house in Sedona with us, and cooked an omelet, and I had a bagel and some grapefruit. And then right now I drank some of a juice, freshly done beet, carrot, apple, a little bit of ginger, celery juice. And I'm full. And I did that. So once you start doing this, saying yes to coming out of denial, healing your own emotional backlog, your own subconscious, you're gonna need to eat less. You can just eat for enjoyment. Because you live by energy, and I have more energy than ever.
My eating has changed so much, too. I mean, you know, speaking of programming, we're like, oh, you're supposed to have 6 meals a day, right? Your 3 big ones, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then all your snacks in between. And I'm just thinking, there is no way I could eat that much food. I start off my day, you know, with the juice, then have a smoothie, and then maybe a small meal. Well, sometimes a really large meal, too, but... Yeah. Later in the day, and that's it. I don't need that anymore.
That's right. One of the benefits of it is that, and also, of course, the scientist.
Uh-oh. Who'd we lose? Uh-oh. Okay. Huh. Am I here? Okay, someone, one or both of us, if you can even hear me, has been cut off. Let's see what we've got going on here. Okay. Oh, so you can hear me, just not Tobias.
I'm back.
Okay, all right. We've been having so many technical issues lately, just totally unexplained, so I never know. Is it me? Is it both of us? Is it you? What's going on? Okay, we're both here.
You move on ahead. So, yes, this military-style thing, see, that's not it. The original creation was to enjoy yourself. In joy, you find your energy. Do you ever notice when someone gets laid really good, they have a lot of energy?
Really? I don't know anything about that. You teaching me?
I will, yes. I would love. See, now we're going to break all the boundaries. See? Back to the Garden of Eden, it was that free.
Oh, man.
And we're heading back towards that. And on the way back there, since you're bringing it up, you know, swingers type stuff and pornography is sort of denied sexuality. You know, there's that whole thing about I still own you, but you can go out and we can have an open relationship. But if you fall in love with somebody, that's an absolute no-no, right? That's not freedom, that's not opening. God is in love with everybody. Source, Mother Nature, the source field of all the universe is in love. Sexually, emotionally, heart-wise, physically, spiritually, with everyone and everything. It is love. The very nature expression of the source field, like Swami Vivekananda said, the first expression of real spirituality is this bliss for no reason, joy for no reason, And, and that's where we're headed back to. All these regimens are helpful, but you can be a complete raw, vegan, perfect, drinking, all the perfect regimen. I do animals every other day. I never touch anything toxic. I do, I think right, I pray, I meditate, I have good visualization. All that shit will not work unless you detox your energetic field. Mm-hmm. So that you've got to get to the heart of the matter. Now, we're off topic a little bit, but it's a good topic.
We need a topic.
So obviously I'm pushing the boundaries here a little bit, about free love in the Garden of Eden and not having to eat. But that's what spirit is like. Spirit is doesn't need anything because it is sourcing itself. Each energy center in your Kundalini column, the 7 churches are fountains of effervescing eternal energy. So the first rule, or the first thing, if you want to tap into that, would you like unlimited abundance of everything? If we want that, the source field, which created everything, and then the materialized, the physical universe is only like 3% of, this is all made up. It is 97% of all matter is dark matter, meaning it's there in potential. It hasn't manifested yet. There's an unlimited supply of anything and stuff. The rest is a game of scarcity. And the cattle sheeple are stuck inside the game of scarcity. We are. The early bird gets the worm. You got to look out for number one. Dog eat dog. You can't trust anyone. You got to take care of yourself. There's only so much oil in the ground. They ain't making no more land. Sure they are. It's unlimited land. By the way, the earth is expanding anyway. There's unlimited of everything in the world. So any programs that try to divide and conquer us by setting us against each other with fences and stuff. See, once you have abundance inside yourself, you don't need to own land. The Indians used to wander this continent and go, of course, the ones that encountered the white settlers were the ones that needed that karma. They were still violent, they battled with each other, and then they would battle. The ones that were done with fighting, they simply dematerialized or went into other dimensions. And in the Superstition Mountains of Arizona, you can actually recontact some of these tribes. They live in another frequency. But they walked literally into that rock wall about 50 years before any of the white settlers came to the Hohokam, the Salt River Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. So this, and if you're interested in that stuff, read a book called Return of the Bird Tribes. Return of the Bird Tribes by Ken Carey. I think he lives in Kentucky in the woods or Tennessee somewhere, but he's tapped into that totally. You know the real story of the Native Americans? Hiawatha is a real person, the Oneida, the Oneidas, the Sioux, the Iroquois, all that stuff, the Eastern Coast. They talk about how those that were ascended of the native people simply shifted into another dimension, and they did not play out any of this colonial smallpox war, struggle, pain, and all that. I know that's radical, and some native people are going to go, get their panties in a wad about it. But I speak from some authority. I do spend time up on Hopi land about 4 times a year at least, and I do have connection with the Kachinas directly. We all, there are spirits. Kachinas are ET spirits, basically. And they are obviously run by God. Masa of the Hopi was the Christ spirit. They used to appear with them in Oldorati, but anyway, that's a whole other story. But so tapping into your own energy field is the way to go. You got to do it, So as you start waking up to all this stuff, to chemtrails, to the Illuminati, the Federal Reserve, 9/11, etc., The fact that we've been lied to about the spiritual stuff, about the physical stuff, about our government, about everything. It's all backwards, most of it, right? You're going to want to share this with your family and friends. You're going to be pissed off. The truth will set you free, but first it will really, really, really piss you off. I want to get a T-shirt like that. I'm going to get one. And so they're going to be very scared, because why wouldn't they look at the evidence? 2,000 engineers and architects, which means that's probably about 2%. That means there's 98% more of architects and engineers that agree with it, but there's no way they're going to put their name on the line, right?
Yeah.
But 2,000 architects and engineers and physicists not put their name on. 9/11 was impossible to happen without it being preset or some explosive, nanothermite and the stuff they find, etc. There's so much evidence for it. And if people are, because what that represents, if people accept that somehow a few people inside the cabal, the secret, knew and allowed it to happen and set it up, and Osama bin Laden was on the CIA payroll from the Mujahideen way back in Afghanistan, and he had his dialysis machine, CIA agents were meeting him, all that stuff. Once you realize that, it's such a shock, because you have to then realize, what else have I been lied to about? What else?
Yeah.
My religion that I've invested so much in, If the ETs show up, it'll blow your paradigm out of the water. If the humans from galactic humans show up, which they are en masse, there's so many races visiting Earth, right? But once it breaks the collective sheep or cattle programming, it's a huge paradigm shift. All of a sudden, we're not controllable anymore with religion as much. But it's very, very scary, because what it represents is, all of a sudden I have to start determining for myself what's real, what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big responsibility, because it really is kind of nice to go, look, I'd rather the government tell me, and news conference and experts tell me what and how I should live, because then I can blame them if it doesn't work out.
Well,
but
it's easier for someone else to tell us what is, right?
Yeah, and as long as we want to have authorities tell us how to be, they will be there. As soon as the people, what's that bumper sticker? If the people lead, the leaders will follow. It's true. So we have to, taking the power back is living for yourself, grow your own food, or buy it from people locally that grow their own food as much as possible. Don't go fanatic. Don't feel bad if you can't do it. If you happen to shop at Walmart once in a while, no one's going to kill you. It's all right. We don't want Nazi vegans, like we're not.
Definitely not.
Yeah. It's about freedom. It's about finding your own level. But so as you try to explain this to your family and friends, you're going to notice, for example, your parents might say, you feel into them. See, God's source allows for total free will. People are allowed to not want to know. People are allowed to not want to know.
Very good point there, Tobias. Wow, people are allowed to not want to know. I'm going to quote you on that, but it is that time. Stay tuned, everyone. We will be right back. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution.
right, welcome back, and thanks for joining us here, Soul Journeys Radio, on AmericanFreedomRadio.com with Tobias Lars. SoulCounseling.com is the website, or CourseOfAwakening.com, and tonight we are talking about truth poison and how to avoid oversharing, how to deal with awakening when your loved ones just aren't there yet. If you, you know what, I don't see, okay, the caller line doesn't look like it's on, so if you would like to join us, any questions or anything, you could just join us in the text chat over at souljourneysradio.com. And Toby, very wise words. People are allowed to not want to know. I like that.
Because God's source of the universe, or think of your own soul's journey, you know, we're all in denial to various degrees. And the way a spiritual teacher might say that, you're partially awakened, or Jesus in his translation said, we've all fallen short of the glory of God, meaning you're not fully glorified, which means fully with light. If your eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. And I bring up the Christian scriptures just because in the West, that is the default programming. When you drive into a town, they'll list all the churches, you know, like the Lions Club and all that, and then they'll have all the churches on some board as you drive into the town, right? And they're all Christian churches. You don't have the Wicca Church of the Holy Orgasm listed there, you know what I mean? Because there's still a default culture that is Christian in this country, too. Sort of the accepted paradigm, vibrating frequency that's all safe. So I still mention it from a biblical perspective to keep so people can understand. So when I say, I'll say you're not fully glorified, you've fallen short of the glory of God. That's that. Or you could say you're not fully enlightened. So as we start waking up, we're not fully awake either. When you first realize there's something really I'm not being told, you know, and how children are programmed into it, you know, I mean, circumcision, Santa Claus, you name it, you know. What a great way to traumatize kids. Everyone I know, and those I love the most, have been lying to me for 8 years about Santa Claus. But then they realize that's a lie. So it puts this deep distrust in you that, well, people are telling me, I don't know if I can trust it or not. Mm-hmm. You know? That's the programming. Where the young baby boy is handed by his mother, you know, like we posted on the Course of Awakening on Facebook. Carrie, thank you for bringing that, Carrie. It's a good point. About here's the baby who's been nurtured and right next to the heartbeat of his mother for 9 months, and then he's born, and within a day or two, or whenever they do it, a week, he's handed over to these guys with masks and cold, sterile instruments. He's tied down with his arms and legs, strapped down, and then he's, you know, the most sensitive part of his penis, the foreskin there, is surgically removed without anesthesia.
Barbaric.
And that really does schizophrenize or partition. It starts the mind control programming of that. And so there's some people that have said that's the way you can make soldiers, because that deep mistrust of the mother or of the universe can lead to then being willing to kill others in order to, quote, survive, the kill or be killed impulse. So this programming is very, very deep in humans, because that's what's happened to us. And millions of us are waking up. So as you're going to be at different phases of waking up. So the next step is what's appropriate. Like, you don't go instantly to somebody at the Elks Club. You know, the Queen Mother is a reptilian, you know, they're going to label you a nut job. You understand? Right? Or if you're at the Fraternal Order of Police, you go right in there and go, well, you know, Eisenhower met with the gray ETs on Andrews Air Force Base in 1957. They're going to, okay, wacko, please have him 86 out of here. So you need to go one step at a time. You need to find common ground. So if you're talking to the Fraternal Order of Police, you're going to have to find a place about righteousness and being good-hearted and doing the right thing in face of odds of not being appreciated. And we know there's a few bad apples inside our own ranks and the government, and it's our job as holy soldiers to find them out and get rid of them, deal with them internally, you know, take care of them. If you don't shape up, we're going to kick you out of here. You know, so you appeal to, I'm picking like a really hard place where you would have to find common ground, right? But you can do it. You can find common ground and then stretch it a little bit. Now, there are people whose role is to be shocks to the system, okay? There are real people whose role is to throw the flag up there and, you know, take your shirts off, girls, and go parade around, you know, 100 of you with your breasts showing. Because that's a shock to the system. I'm saying that, you know, that would shock the system. Mm-hmm. And there's a right place to shock the system. And there's a right place to work it from the inside. And that's a personal choice, you know. You can be a radical rebel from the outside, or you can kind of work it from the inside. Both are needed, and we're all here for different things. But within family and friends, if you do too much at once, obviously they're going to tilt like a pinball machine. If you jostle them too much at once, they're going to get that frozen look in their eyes, or they're going to label you a crazy nut job wacko, woo-woo, right?
I don't know anything about that.
Right. I mean, if I tell people, yes, I've had 2 fully conscious daytime encounters with extraterrestrial craft. You know, one was a scout ship and with no beams on it, but it was remotely controlled, a surveillance ship, and another had Pleiadians in it. You know, they're going to, for the right audience, I can tell that. But if I tell that to an audience that's too far out for, it's too much. Well, like the other day, I was having lunch with Joy and her daughter and her daughter's friend, and they were talking about how difficult childbirth is and all this stuff. And I chose to be a little provocative. I said, well, you know, nowadays there are cases of women actually having full-body orgasms while they're giving birth. It's on YouTube. You can Google it. It's a piece by ABC News, and the wife of this physicist, Nassim Haramein, that live in Hawaii, his wife, had a full-body orgasm. They filmed it as she's giving birth in a pool, you know, like a small jacuzzi-type pool. Mm-hmm. Now, that will shock the system to those girls. Now, I have to preface, but I also have to go, if I just say that straight like that, they're just going to go, it's too confrontive. But if I joke and then I soften it a little bit, I go, and I know what most women are going to say, well, you have no clue, man, you have no clue, you stupid man, how much that hurts, right? And I understand. So you have to take it one step at a time, because the programming in this instance is childbirth, super painful, men evil, right? And then you have that's the programming, right? You stay out of this room or I'm going to rip your balls off. You did this to me, right? That's the programming. I know I'm being a little direct there. Bill Cosby does a whole routine about it. But the reality of it is that all things are meant to be enjoyable. And so now there's more and more cases. They've always been there. Google it. Orgasm during childbirth. It's always been there. But it's always been hushed up because it doesn't fit the paradigm. It's no different than when they find skeletons right up here in Utah, not too far from where I'm sitting, that have 2 rows of teeth and 6 fingers, and they have long red hair, and they're 8 feet tall up in Paiute country, you know, or the Ute country. They hush that up because it doesn't fit the paradigm. So you have to kind of do one little step at a time, and depending on what your audience is. So your family, if you're waking up and they don't want to hear anything about it, you have to make a decision. You know, do I confront? Do I play the rebel and pull my shirt off, right, and tell all the truth, right, and let the stuff fly where it goes? You know, because there's consequences. It may be true, but it may be true that we're all beautiful in God's eyes and nakedness is nothing to be ashamed of. But if I take all our clothes up right now and start walking down the street here in Sedona, the police will come pretty quickly. Yeah. Right? So I may be correct and have the truth on my side. I'm just being, you know, al naturel. That's what it means in French, al naturel. I'm just being natural. But because of the current paradigm that we live in, you have to adjust it unless you want attention from the police or ultimately be put away. Wilhelm Reich, as he invented that, Reich invented that. No, that was Wilhelm, I forget which one, that invented the microscope, actually all these lenses, glass lenses, that he could do certain frequencies that got rid of cancer out there in La Jolla in California. And the AMA, the head of AMA, Morris Fishbein, literally, they came and just destroyed it. you know, because they weren't ready for that. Anyway, we'll be back.
Yeah. We will be back. That's right. Hold that right there, everyone. Stay tuned and take care of Gabby, Toby, in these few short minutes. We will be right back. SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right. Welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And if you would like to join us for the text chat, that's over at SoulJourneysRadio.com. Just click on Listen and Chat. And if you have any questions for us, just post it in there, all in caps. So hopefully I don't miss it. We're talking with Tobias Lars tonight. He is a personal awakening coach and the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. He is also the creator of CourseOfAwakening.com and InnerBodyAwakening.com. We are discussing truth poison and oversharing and what to do when you're awakening and no one else around you seems to be. And you know what I don't understand is why, and I'm totally not pointing fingers or judging because I've totally been there, done that. But why we want to hold on to what we think is true because somebody else told us, like so... We hold on to it so tightly that we're willing to kill one another or beat them up or vandalize their car, or report them to cops or try to force people to believe exactly what you do. And, I mean, really in the grand scheme of things, who really cares? I mean, who cares what other people believe? Is it affecting you in any way? I don't know. In fact, during this show, Tobias, this is kind of funny. Somebody's trying to force me to believe, the propaganda about global warming. And I personally don't subscribe to that theory. Well, actually, that's not true. I believe it's global warming every year. For half of the world, every summer. And it's a global ice age for half of the world every winter. Really my beliefs don't even matter. But yeah, somebody's trying to force me to, believe Al Gore's story. And I'm just laughing. I invited him to the show, but I don't think that's going to happen because they're done with me. They can't force me to fear what man calls invasive species. And I'm just laughing here thinking, man, I remember those days where if you didn't want to believe what I believe or what I, know through experience or what my pastor or whatever told me, I'd get mad too. Come on, I want it my way. Do it my way. Why aren't they, joining my club? It's hilarious. Where do we get that from? Why do we feel that need and hold on to it so tightly that every single person around us has to be exactly like us?
Right. You're either with us or against us. You're either with us or you're with the terrorists. Right. It's that taking sides. I always say God doesn't take sides. Source, God, Mother, Father, Source of the universe, is on everyone's side. It can't take sides. It's like a mother choosing sides between kids. The kids are having an argument. Is the mother going to go, yep, you're right, he sucks, let's kill him. Let's cut his head off. You know, it's
Not
kind
usually.
kind of insane, you know, even if one child is more aware than the other, anyhow, yeah, global warming, that's an interesting one. If you look into it, there's good evidence that Mars is heating up, Neptune, Jupiter, in fact, all the planets in our solar system are heating up. Gee, last time I checked, there wasn't any SUVs on Jupiter.
Yeah, what I don't get, though, okay, let's say that's true. Every single planet in the galaxy is heating up.
Well, in our planetary
How do we
system.
know that? Because the only information we think we know is given to us by them, the ones that have been lying to us about everything else anyways. But it's just really clever and ingenious how we're able to fight about it. Or, you know, the Bible. Or, you know, what Jesus said 2,000 years ago. Oh, and what his real name is. And, you know, Mark and Peter and Mary and all these people did these things. And people want to fight about it to the death.
Yeah.
Guess what? You weren't there. You don't know. Who cares if somebody believes that Jesus was gay? And, you know, who cares?
Right. I know. And here, the roots of that, and by the way, I don't believe all scientists are, I think it's managed at the highest levels that, you know, national security will step in. If there's a pyramid found off the, you know, western coast of Cuba, that's a giant pyramid at over 1,000 feet of water, that will be squelched when the National Geographic finds that and they get side scan sonar and they have the actual pictures of it, that at some levels it can get squelched. But the vast majority of scientists are just pursuing their stuff, you know, inside the box, unknowingly inside the box. There might be peer pressure and so forth and shame about not going outside the box, and that's what keeps the cattle, in this case, the academicians. I love what John Anthony West calls them. He calls them the quack academicians. And I speak with a little bit of authority with that, having gone through a master's program and become a biologist myself and so forth. But anyhow, why do we do that? I'll give you a story. One of my neighbors a few years ago, nice woman, Greek woman, you know, and I was in her house one time and she's telling me about the piano. And she said, yeah, that's the piano that I hauled from Brooklyn out here to Arizona. Why? Well, it was my mother's piano, but it's the piano that I had lessons on when I was 7 years old, and my mother bought me the lessons. And as we're talking, she just realized the reason I hauled that piano around for 40, 50 years, right, is because it represents the love between me and my mother. So she's hauling her tradition, and it's sort of a sacred oath to my mother, to her mother. And so when we have certain beliefs that our grandfather, our daddy, our mommy told us one day by the river, or after we cried and broke up with our first boyfriend or whatever, it's sort of like a sacred trust. If I don't believe what Grandma believed, then I'm against her. I'm betraying her. I'm not being loyal to her. It's, you're either with us or against us. And that's a deep program when our own idiotic chimp president can say that. Now, someone who understands global warming will obviously agree with me that Bush is a moron, an idiot, and program. But they don't see their own programming, you know? Yeah. The thing is, true scientific approach or true openness or smart, intelligent people notice when they're wrong in the light of new evidence and change their minds. Ego-based, fearful-based people will keep arguing. You know, we're after the truth. True unbiased, meaning non-prejudiced, meaning I haven't prejudged the situation. Ignorance is beautiful in the sense of I don't know. A confident person can admit, I don't know about this. Now let me hear from you. You have that approach, and you're listening to various inputs, and you go, well, this resonates with me. So I think we can measure the temperature on the surface of Jupiter and Venus and so forth. We have instruments that do this, and not all scientists, they'll just report what they see, and then they'll be told, you're not funded anymore to do that anymore if it starts revealing things that aren't with the agenda, i.e. the global warming, tax, ozone, whatever it is, carbon footprint You exchange credit, so forth, right? But you have to learn to see behind the scenes. So a free person is interested in what is, what's the truth, what's the layers of truth, and let those keep evolving. As you grow, your understanding changes, you know. And so it's not about ending up in a fixed, meaning static, stuck, this is it, period. The truth is here and it never changes. That's not how the universe works. It's an exploration by consciousness. What was true for Sir Isaac Newton is different for Einstein, is different now for quantum physicists, you know. And so it's more like when you meet true scientists, they're beautiful because they're really curiously interested in just describing the universe, and they know it's just a description, it's not some final dogmatic truth. Now, there's very few of those scientists. Just like there's very few open-hearted, open-minded religionists, there's very few open-minded, open-hearted scientists. It's the same thing, which is, by the way, why they fight each other. Because that which you do not acknowledge inside yourself, you are then doomed to meet in the outside world. As within, so without. As within, so without. As you vibrate, so the creation will look to you. As a person thinketh, so is the world. You know, these are higher spiritual physics principles, but everyone has to come to it in their own way. There can be crusaders and fighters and have enemies and scapegoats out there, and you know, Ahmadinejad is now the new devil since we got rid of Gaddafi, and Osama bin Laden finally outlived it, and we killed him off and dumped his body at sea. Gee, wonder what really happened. Right. But, you know, and we're allowed not to know. So all this stuff is the behind-the-scenes operation, and once you start coming on to the game, is there more centralized control and more giving away our authority? That's all you got to look for. It's just headed towards less freedom, meaning like telling me what to do with my kids. I have to send them to school. I have to vaccinate them. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to eat these things. You know, the less personal freedom of choice, whether that's from the ultra-fascist side or the ultra-liberal side, doesn't matter. It's the same mechanism. It is leading to less personal freedoms and more centralized control. And that will be used, Lucifer, if you will, or this control program, the international elite. They don't care what the ideology is or the particular ism, if it's communism or, you know, capitalism. They don't care. They work both sides. Rockefellers used to get parades in Moscow because they were the Russian bank for the communists. Now, you'll never see that on the news. Right? So, but that's a fact. Did I lose you guys? I can't hear you in case I'm still connected to you. Well, if we lost Christie, I'll just keep talking. And so we have to share appropriately with people. You have to share appropriately, only with the next step that people are ready to see. I'm here.
Here I am. I'm back.
You're back. I wasn't sure if I was still going or not either.
I was listening to you, and you were doing great. I just couldn't get back in, and I'm thinking I'll send him a telepathic message that I was dropped and keep talking, because you probably like it better when I'm dropped anyway.
No, I can feel it. I need your matriarchal Valkyrian fury goddess support to hold space for me.
You're trying to say my dumb my dumb immature jokes once in a while, right?
Not at all. And in fact, you know, we would love to hear a show where you reveal more of your personal history. Everybody would really love that.
I've done a few lately, but yeah. Anyways.
we could do one where I interview you. That would be cool.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
And yeah, we'll just make sure it's one of those nights where I keep getting dropped.
No. It might have happened again. So if Christie can't hear me, I'm going to keep going. So as we're sharing these awakenings in us, when I was 19, I had a Kundalini awakening. My dad's a physicist. I'm going to the University of Connecticut. I'm a normal athlete, student, scholar kind of thing. And I'm having these experiences of energy in my body. And, you know, I couldn't share that with my scientific father. But so if you share things too soon, you will get rejected. It's too far outside the norm, you know. The angels, E.T., the human galactic family appears to people back in 3000 B.C., and they get worshipped as gods, and they start a whole religion, Judaism, you know, about the Elohim, and these turn out to be galactic humans. Jehovah is so-and-so, and he's an officer for the Anunnaki, and if you research this, you can find it. But we tend to react with either fear, meaning your partners, your family will turn on you and go, you're wacko, you're a nut job. Just like when Marconi, the inventor of the telegraph, meaning the first time you were sending information through the air, not through a cable, through the air. See, we had wired telegraph, you know, like in the times of the Western Union. That's why it's called that, because the telegraph line ran across the land, and you could sit there and do Morse code. But when Marconi said, I can send it through the air without wires, his friends literally wanted to have him committed to a mental institution.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody call the cops so we can hog tie him and torture him and throw him in a rubber room and drug him. Yeah.
Yeah. And the steam engine, the wealthy New Yorkers along the Hudson River had their picnics set up and their tables, and they were going to have a good laugh at Fulton's folly, his ridiculous notion that he could create an engine with steam. They were just going to laugh at him and make fun of him as they were watching him try to run his steamboat on the Hudson River. Of course, he was able to do it. But to any paradigm-shattering, busting ideas, it's too soon.
I have a secret, and you can't tell anyone, Tobias, but I'm thinking that the Earth might not be flat.
That's it. I'm sorry. I'm reporting you to the local bishop immediately. You're a witchy woman. Yeah, I can feel it. You probably work with herbs and medicine. You probably help women with their menstrual cycle. You are very scary, very dangerous. I'm strangely attracted to you, but I hate you and I want to kill you because you're the source of all my conflicting feelings.
Burn her!
Burn her immediately, yeah. And there's so many men that were like that. You know, the Celtic men or the Vikings or the Druids, you know, they were put to death. I had a lifetime like that myself. So, yeah, anything outside the paradigm scares the sheeple. It's just how it is. You got to accept it and you got to work with it.
That's right, and it is that time, so yeah, very good information, Tobias. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. Again, Tobias Lars, soulcounseling.com is the website. We will be right back on souljourneysradio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American.
It's practically narcotic.
Freedom.
Oh, yes. I like very much.
Radio.
They're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
Oh my God. Wake up. I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. Come on. Tell you about this party music going on and trying to wake me up. Can I just go back to sleep?
Yes, take your drugs. Here your pills, sweetheart. Here your pills, or here's some beer. What do you prefer? What do you want? Some alcohol? You want some shots? How about some virgin, some apple tea?
Or something. I don't know. What are those blue pills? I forget.
Yeah, Oxycontin. Do it. Just smoke meth. Just go right for it. Just check it out.
Someone on the chat just posted, I don't believe anything until our government denies it.
Okay,
now go back to sleep.
That's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. That's a bumper sticker. Do it.
Totally. That is a good one.
Love it. I don't believe anything until there's been an official denial. Yeah, I love that. Perfect. And unless we sound like too far out, everything is conspiracy and all that, the vast majority of people are good people. The vast majority of people are trying to, do the right thing and provide for their kids, and cops and, lawyers. Let's be honest, I know lawyers, it's hard to love lawyers, but believe it or not, I remember when we incorporated, me and a partner, New Dimensions Productions, we did the LLC, and the lawyer that we connected with, the Spirit showed us, one of our teachers, Baba Saibaba showed us, this is what he tells his son at night. He says he tells his son he really wants to try to do good even inside the system. So there's good people everywhere inside the system, because if you throw the whole baby out with the bathwater, if you believe there's no good people ever in this particular arena, then so it is for you. And I remember when I was feeling a few years ago sad about sort of the bankster, the Illuminati, the international bankers, and so forth. And the next day, one of my friends, who's a shamanic astrologer, told me, he said, Tobias, I just had this client. She's a woman in her late 30s. She works with inside the top banking stuff in London, And she said he said she knows the game, and she's doing these sessions with me. And they're trying, there's a whole cadre of young people inside that system that want to start letting the banks do microfinance and helping people in an appropriate way, and, like the Heifer Project in Africa and so forth. And if we get too, cynical, we can miss the stuff within there. And then the next day I met with a teacher who's sort of famous on the planet, and him and I ended up through these circumstances of buying furniture, sitting in the car right outside here at the house in Sedona. For an hour and a half, he told me about actually inside the Illuminati and how they'd come to visit him and so forth. And there's actually another generation inside there as well that wants to get out of this energy control system. Now, our suspicion will go, no, they're just setting you up and all that stuff. But that's not always true. There is good intention inside. Even in those circles, I'm picking some of the worst circles, but the vast majority of normal people want goodness. And it's just that they don't know that they're being sort of herded like cattle, like wild horses when they're captured. They trust their lead horse. But what the people that catch wild horses will do, they'll put in a plant. They'll put in a horse that's semi-tame that will run into the corral. And they'll get the other wild horses to follow that horse. They have a decoy, insider, that does it. So this stuff, of course, goes on with human programming as well. And I wanted to say this. So when we start waking up ourselves, the spiritual physics of it is very threatening. An awakened person becomes very threatening because sort of the programming, the demons, if you will, or the subconscious energetic tendencies that the person is unconscious of, will just unconsciously attack that person, the person who's telling them about awakening. You're an idiot. They'll actually enjoy hurting them, kind of, They'll enjoy seeing them fall, or they're not open. It's the fear playing out. And that's very deep. Like in my situation with Joy, her kids, we've been together a while. They're starting to little bit on the fringes now to wake up to chemtrails or natural eating or, some. But for the most part, I'm just weird to them, I'm just weird. I'm different.
You're weird to pretty much everyone. That's why we love you.
Thank you. I feel better now. I don't know. Now I can adjust to their world, but over long term, you really can't. So if it's long term that you're in a relationship or with family members that just don't understand you, then you got to be yourself, and they can flip out or whatever they want to do. But to adjust to the lower level of consciousness is not healthy. And I've made a decision in the beginning of the year. I'm upping the ante a little bit. I'm going to tell a little bit more truth. And that what will happen then, people will feel hurt, they'll feel angry. It's already happening. And, some of Joy's kids are a little, they get angry at me because of whatever. And it's how it is. Because when people aren't willing to look at themselves, someone that holds space, that holds a certain frequency vibration, will reflect that to them, whether you say a word at all. It is their own self-judgment being reflected back at them, Now, I'm willing and open to talk to people and, to be really straightforward about stuff. And that is very confrontive, And when I do it, and I'm using myself as an example, I'm not holding myself up as better. I've had the crap kicked out of me for 30 years this lifetime to get to a place where I realize, okay, I really need to, I want to heal myself more than I want to be right. You know what I mean? Being right is when you're actually wrong is really stupid, Like holding on to the old idea that somehow pork is good for you, or something. I don't know. There's consequences, eating feedlot beef, where they've been fed their own ground up bones, and then they wonder why there's, the multiple sclerosis or Jakob-Creutzfeldt syndrome. It's basically human mad cow disease, Jakob-Creutzfeldt. So there are consequences, but so as there are times when you have to walk away, or you have to speak up and let them freak out and froth at the mouth. There are times when you have to do that. You can't adjust to the lower form of consciousness. One of my friends who's studying with a Qigong master on the West Coast, they say it this way. They say, what's the leading energy in the room? If the leading energy is denial or hiding or, everyone codependent and avoiding talking about the elephant in the room, then that's the demons are having a heyday. They get the feed off of everybody, or the subconscious denials, dysfunction, same thing. In ayahuasca ceremonies, you can see these denials, dysfunctions as an actual demon, like an energetic construct that looks sort of humanoid form, or you can see it just as a colored energy or a mixture swirling. Both perceptions are correct, You can anthropomorphize it into forms, demons, or you can make it it's just an energy tendency in your subconscious. Both are correct. One is a little less, artistic than the other, If you want to live in the world of myths are real, but you can also do it scientifically. Anyway, so there are times when you need to just go, no, this is how I see it, and truth will win out. Truth protects itself. When you start unleashing the truth in you, you start telling your truth, the shit will hit the fan, pardon me, and so I use it as a defense. When I up the volume, people will either back off and they'll say Tobias is a nut job, crazy, wacko, evil, nasty, and I don't really care. Because
he's a master baster.
because I got what I wanted, which is I wanted my space without that denial that's trying to get into my neck or my body, Because once you become sensitive, and the work I do, obviously, I do soul rituals for people, through the years I've learned to see the energies or feel the entities and so forth just by feeling them. And most of us on the planet still have massive amounts of denied energy. In other words, unconscious tendencies, demons, whatever, possessions. We have, stuff inside us that isn't ours. And when I'm around that, I will necessarily feel it. So this is why psychics or true psychics or healers, you need to learn one of the steps along the way, you need to learn to manage the energies, because people carry that with them. It's like, what, Pigpen and Snoopy, he's always carrying that dark cloud around with him, We carry it in our energetic field, and so you'll pick up on it. We're sympathetically vibrating tuning forks as human beings, so you can pick up on it. Sometimes it will attach to you if you don't know how to manage it. And so when I'm around it, if I'm around, God bless, Joy has a great family, but there's a normal family of denial. My family's not any better. I'm not talking to my mom right now because she's in a phase where I go, look, Mom, no, I don't agree. I'm not going there with you. And that's
you're allowed to say no.
That's a huge lesson for me to actually do that, to put in here's the boundary. Now, this can be misused. What I'm saying right now can be misused, too, by denial. See, here's where it's tricky. Your heart, your intention has to be for real awakening. Because you can misuse, and you will run into people like this, you go, no, it's not my stuff, it's all yours. You're in denial. Now you're in denial. Now you're in denial, right? It can all be misused by the ego. You have to sincerely want to really heal and awaken. Otherwise, you can misuse this thing saying, I just have boundaries, where you're actually not willing to have it reflected to you, certain things. So the key is to have a sincere heart about, I want real awakening, I want my soul's purpose, mission to unfold, I want to see who I really am, I want to find a place of cooperation and freedom and allowing and non-judgment with other souls. Teach me when to be kind of, if you're with a rabid dog, you need to treat that differently than a scared dog or a normal dog or a normally aggressive dog, right? Some people are just completely rabid. With them, you need to basically stiff arm them and go, hey, get out of here. You need to be pretty strong with that. You need to, here's the boundary. What part of no don't you get? That's what you need to do with certain humans. I'm demonstrating here, folks, right? Like we just went up the road with Bentley and little Gabby. Gabby's 6-month-old female golden, and Bentley's an unfixed male golden retriever. So I'm walking by a house. I can hear, Bandit, come back here. So I know there's a dog coming out of the house. He snuck out of the house, right? It's kind of a shepherd lab mix, big black dog. And he's got his hackles up and he's coming at us, right? So I have to react a certain way. If I go, hey, would you mind not getting in there? That's not going to work, right? Please, don't hurt us, right? That's not going to work. I have to step between Bentley and Gabby, and I had Chloe, who's a 12-year-old, granddaughter who goes with me. So I have to step between them, and I have to go off, no, to that dog. So that dog gets the authority and the power of what I'm doing. And that dog backed right off and realized, okay, I can't run in on this pack, and he went off to the other yard. But that's what's required. So as you start mastering energy, you have to be willing to have strong boundaries and yet a gentle heart. Wise as serpents, gentle as doves, is how Joshua tries to describe it. You meet like with like, you don't judge it. The master allows people to attack him, and he reflects that, and he offers grace. And other times she really encourages someone that needs confidence. If I was a scared doggy, I would work with, getting them more confidence. But that dog needed to know boundary. He can't rush in on, with ill intentions, So that's his right medicine. And actually the souls will appreciate right medicine. Souls appreciate right medicine. Just like raising kids. You can't, the kids need different amounts of guidance, structure, or freedom depending on what their soul is. And the same with humans. And sometimes they will be pissed at you because you're telling them no. Or calling them on their BS.
Oh, this is such a witch. Oh, come on, just sit down and shut up, little girl. You're just supposed to listen to me and everything I say.
God, shut up. Tobias, we have a special request, which I don't know, you must have heard it theoretically anyways, but right before you mentioned the dog scenario, Noelle, our newfie, asked for you to show us your best rock scream. So we're going to break here in a second. You think you can turn it up a notch?
It has to happen naturally, boys and girls. I'd have to shift into that character.
Come on, just bang your head!
All right, I'll invite that. Let's see if it shows up. All right, well, I'll try to find it. Hang on.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
News and information you can trust. This is American Freedom Radio. Freedom, American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. We've got everything you want. Honey, we know your names. We are the people that you find. Whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we've got your disease in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring you to your knees. Woo! I want to watch you bleed.
Axel. Okay, I have Axl Rose's. I'm gonna channel Axl Rose's scream. Ready?
Woo!
Ready?
Ready.
Off the magic dragon, lured by the sea. Yeah, that's it. Right there. I'm channeling Axl Rose. Hear it?
Has he lost his mind? Can he see or is he blind? Can he walk at all? Or be moved when he falls?
I'm feeling paranoid.
Okay, well, I hope Newfie's happy. You know, you got to entertain the Newfies.
There you go.
Magic Dragon, good one.
Good one, huh?
Okay,
yeah, we did a little of that this weekend, but you have to be in the right space to really channel good screaming, you know? We did. I think
my producer, I'm looking at my Skype messages, and he's like, WTF?
Yeah.
Hell? What?
You know, that would be good. Ozzy singing Puff the Magic Dragon. That would be good.
I think you should just start puffing on the Magic Dragon, heck. We probably all should.
We should do that.
We should. Puff the Magic Dragon party.
Good novelty song. That would be fun for Ozzy. Ozzy, yeah.
I'm just thinking
You're
of
you are a natural at drugs today. You've been eating too many berries. I can tell.
At least I'm good at something. All right.
Very nice.
Okay, so we're talking about how to deal, how to cope, and appropriate boundaries, which you just got into in the last segment. And I think that's something that comes up a lot when you state your boundaries. People kind of start freaking out, like, oh, Christie, come on, you should let us do this. Or, for example, I decided to close my personal Facebook page for postings because, you know, I was just getting a lot of, people would get drunk and post like 5 things and, it would just bury my stuff. So I figured, well, I'm sorry. It's kind of a bummer that the few ruined it for the many. But, I got a bunch of messages. Well, Christie, you should do this and you should do that and you should open it up. It's a great way for, and I'm just like, come on. I've been here 5 years and you're going to tell me what I should be doing, as if the show isn't enough, the groups aren't enough, the videos aren't enough, nothing's enough, just I'm not allowed to put a boundary out. What's up with that? And how can we respect other people's boundaries without maybe getting so offended and, feeling like, I don't know, that they're against me type thing?
Yeah. The bottom line is you allow the soul, like in this case, you and Norley are trying to peer pressure me into doing my rock scream. Right?
But I wouldn't kick you off the show if you didn't do it.
No, exactly. So then people are allowed to suggest things, but then you feel inside yourself, what wants to happen? What do I want to do? And be honest with it. And that's giving people respect and freedom to choose. And if someone keeps trespassing and going, come on, what are you afraid of? What's wrong with you? Then you can establish boundaries if you want to with them, That whole thing, that to fear that we push people, grade school stuff or adult
doing it.
Or adult stuff like you're not flying your American flag or you some kind of pinko commie,
I had someone freak out over a video I did of somebody's garden, and they had a German flag in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my God.
Really? Well,
why is that flag there? Why don't you call him up and ask?
Yeah. So there is a time, I wanted to talk about, there is a time for separation. There is a time to go, okay, we're done here because we're not compatible. It's not working. I'm interested in this. And so there is a time to stand hard against hard. There's a time to go, look, you're programmed, you're unconscious, and they will naturally react to that. And, but there's a time when there's unequally yoked people, whether that's with your parents or your brothers or sisters or partners or whatever. It happens. When you've outgrown a certain religious tradition, you need to move on. Time for you to leave, grasshopper. Right? Once you can walk across the rice paper, it will be time for you to leave. Right? So there's a time to graduate and move on as we as souls evolve. And you can't change that. You can't drag someone against their will into a place where you're going. And this is not a value judgment about we're better or worse. God sure loves everything. There's some souls that are into compression.
She's not like us anymore. Get her. What's wrong with you?
So realizing, exactly. So realizing the dynamics. That's what lets her fearful, smaller in a sense. But again, we're not judging. It's like, see, some souls are into compressing themselves. They're like, I want to forget who I am and see if I can find my way back home. It's a game. Other souls are on the expansion routine, okay? So you could see that. It's sort of like putting on a blindfold, spinning around and forgetting, trying to play hide and seek. So it doesn't mean that we're less valuable. We're all loved. We're all, cared for by the source God of the universe, Mother, Father, Source. We're all everything is valuable. Everything is pieces of consciousness. But there are denial consciousness that wants you to join them. They are not reasonable. They don't respect free will. They will trespass on your free will. In other words, they will proselytize and go, have you heard the word today? Would you like to join our one and true only religion? Never mind that there's 5,000 sects of Christianity. 5,000 sects of Christianity. So there's not really a unifying religion, would you say?
Yeah, I actually got that question on my application, my rental application.
Mm-hmm.
No joke. Have you accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior? Oh, God, thank God I was warned I would get that question ahead of time, though.
Now, here's the thing. You can choose to say not the way, or you could say no, you're a religious nut job, or you could say not in the way you think, or you can say yes, I have.
You know what? I just said, I love Jesus.
Yes.
That was it.
Yep, perfect. And so you can agree with it. I remember that, you agree with it and you play undercover, because with smaller dogmatic consciousness, whether it's scientism or religionism or whatever, or, veganism for that matter, all of it, now that's a higher teaching. We shouldn't really be eating the animals. That's true. But for lesser consciousness, they need to eat the animals for a while, until they wake up from the consequences of doing that. And so you can choose to adjust, or like when Jesus is confronted with Pontius Pilate, choose to say nothing. Because there's nothing he can say to that level of consciousness, Sometimes there's nothing you can say. You can hold the vibration if you want. You can hold a higher vibration if you want, but you don't have to. You can just go, I'm not interested in being around this. I want to be around like-hearted, like-vibrating souls, It's up to you. But know the consequences. If Christie writes on a rental application, you guys are a bunch of fundamentalist religious nut jobs, don't you know that Buddha and Krishna and all of them are also, they might go, okay, we don't really want you as a renter. Thanks for applying, right? And so you have to realize the consequences of what you're dealing with. Whether you're walking into a programmed culture like our planet is. It's very programmed, divided, and conquered. If we weren't, there wouldn't be countries. Countries are an artificial construct of a divided and conquered consciousness. So Russia can be played off against America. Russia falls. Now we're going to play China and America against each other by the Illuminati and the international banksters who will own homes already. The Rockefellers already own homes in China, giant tracts of land and all that. They don't care about countries. They're just programming us to be stuck to our flags and fight and die and send our kids to die for our flag, But this is part of, when you're inside a culture like that, you have to realize that if you speak too much truth, you will tend to be crucified. The messenger will be killed. So you have to choose, do you want to speak that much truth and trigger the unaware consciousness, the consciousness that doesn't know? If I talk to some of Joy's family about 9/11, they're going to freak out. And if I confront them at an energetic level, well, here's your pattern, then they're going to freak out. So I can choose to go along with it for a while, I can choose to not be around it, and I can choose to speak up. And they have different types of consequences, It's just how it is. This is why the human population currently is living still in massive denial. I think we're at the end of the show. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Christie. Love you.
I made it back on time. I dropped out again, but
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.